Good morning, everyone. I am Mrs. Rosinda Intong, your math teacher in grade 8. Okay, now, our first lesson for this school year is all about factoring. You have the common monomial factoring. When you say monomial, our factor should be a monomial, meaning to say that it has only one term. Okay. Now, before factoring, we will have to follow the steps on how to factor common monomial factoring. Now, first is you have to inspect each term. Now, you have to inspect each term. Look for the GCF. Do you know what is the GCF? It is the greatest common factor. The GCF is the greatest common factor. Okay, I think you have learned this one already in your grade 7. So you have to look for the GCF of the numerical coefficients. For example, this one. This is a polynomial wherein it has 3 terms. On the first step, we have to inspect each numerical coefficient because we will have to find the greatest common factor. So we will have 8, 4, and 16. So based on the first step, we will have to look for the greatest common factor of the numerical coefficient. So what is the greatest common factor between 8, 4, and 16? It should be what? It should be 4. Meaning, greatest common factor between 8, 4, and 16 is what? It should be 4. So 4 is considered now as our GCF. Okay. So we know already the GCF of our numerical coefficients. Nakasabot. Sunod. Step 2, you have to identify the common variable. Our common variable in example number 1, we have x, x, and x. Next is we will have to look for the variables with the least exponent. So, the variable here, we have x cubed, we will have x to the power of 4, and we will have x. Now, what is that variable here which it has the least exponent? This is what? This is the x. So, this is the common variable with the least exponent, so you have x there. Okay. Next step is we will have to find the GCF, and the GCF and the common variable with the least exponent now form the common monomial factor, or it is what we call now the CMX. We have to combine the 4 and the x, so it becomes 4x. Did you understand? Okay. Next is step number 4. Use the common monomial factor to divide each term. So the resulting quotient forms the second factor. So we will have to divide. This is the first term, this is the second term, and this is the last term. So we will have to divide each term by our common monomial factor. So we will have here 8x to the power of 3 divided by 4x. So 8 divided by 4, that is equals to how much? That is equals to 2. Now you have x cubed divided by x. Based on our previous lesson in your grade 7 about the loss of exponent, when we will have to divide exponent, we will have to, what are you going to do? You will have to subtract the exponent. So the exponent on the numerator is 3. And the exponent of the denominator is none. But it is understood that it has an exponent of 1. So 3 minus 1 is equals to ila. So you have to copy the common variable, and the exponent now is 2. This is the first term. Okay, for the second term, we will have 4x cubed. The same procedure. You will have to divide the second term by the common factor. So we will have 4x to the power of 4 divided by 4x. 4 divided by 4, that is equals to 1. So, say, you will have to subtract the exponent. X to the 4th minus x or divided by x is equals to x to the power of 3. So you have 4 divided by 4, that is equals to 1. No need to write for you 1 because it's understood that x has a numerical coefficient of 1. So you will have, so the first term there is 2x squared. And the sign there are both positive. So the second term also has a positive sign. So you have x cubed. The last term would be what? The last term would be 16x divided by our common monomial factor, which is 4x. Okay. 16 divided by 4, that is equals to 4. Or you have to cancel this one because it is equals to what? X divided by x, that is equals to 1. Or you have to cancel that out. So, that is equals to 4. So, since the sign of the last term is positive, your sign also is positive. So, you have, this is now the answer, the final answer. You have to express in factor for the GCF and the quotient. So, the common monomial factor is 4x. The quotient now is 2x squared plus x cubed plus 4. This is now your final answer. Did you understand? Okay. Next example. Number 2. If you're going to follow the steps there, it's easy for you to simplify, or you have to factor using common monomial factor. First is you have to identify or inspect each term. Look for the GCF of the numerical coefficients. What are the numerical coefficients in number 2? We will have 12 and 18. Okay, so we will have 12 and 18. What is the common factor between 12 and 18? What is the common factor between 12 and 18? So you will have 6. Nakasabot. So you have 12 and 18. The common or the GCF, the greatest common factor between 12 and 18 is 6. Okay. So now, identify the common variable. Is there any common variable in our given? Yes. We have x to the 5th and x to the power of 7. Next is, you have to look for what? Look for the variables with the least exponent. Kung saan ang least? Pinakagamay. What is that? You have x to the power of 5. So, we have the common variable with the least exponent is x to the power of 5. Now, you have to combine the two. The common monomial, the GCF and the common variable with the least exponent form the common monomial factor. So, this is now 6 to the power of 5. What is the use of this? You have to divide each term by our common monomial factor. So we will have 12x to the power of 5 divided by 6x to the power of 5. So you have 6x to the power of 5. 12 divided by 6. That is equals to 2. Or you have to cancel this one and cancel because both has the same exponent. That will be equals to 1. So, you have to write here. The second term is what? The second term is 18x to the power of 7 divided by with our common monomial factor. So, that is 6x to the power of 5. So, divide the numerical coefficient. 18 divided by 6, that is equals to 3. Now, you have x to the power of 7 divided divided by x to the power of 5, that is equals to x squared. How did we obtain square? We have to subtract 7 and 5. Because in the law of sine number, in dividing exponent, we have to subtract. So, this is now the answer, 3x to the power of 2. And the final answer is 6x to the power of 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3x squared. And this is now your final answer. Did you understand, class? Now, in your module, try to answer those items there in activity number 3. And you just have to follow those steps. And I'm sure you can get your correct answer. Okay, bye for now, class. See you.